What's up, y'all? This is Neena Perez, and this is Straight Talk, No Sugar Added. Thank you guys so much for being here. This show is created to discuss life topics to grow, challenge, and transform your thinking. And you know, I go around the planet trying to find the best people I can find on it. And today I found Lynn Wadsworth, and she's the owner and founder of the Holistic Health and Wellness LLC and the curator of the Energized Healthy Women's Club. Now, she is working with women who are approaching or in their midlife, and who have tried of the changes, are tired of the changes that they see and experience daily. Now, she helps them achieve a higher level of health, allowing them to experience more energy, less belly bloat, fewer mood swings, headaches, sugar cravings, and weight loss. So, you know, I am really stoked to have you here, Lynn. A lot of my audience are women. And so I have, I think, about a 60% audience of women. And so this is going to be really great and up their alley, I'm sure. So, Lynn, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm so honored to be here. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here. I think that, you know, what you're talking about is so important. I love these kind of conversations because it always teaches me something. I think it's very important, powerful, and something a lot of people don't talk about. I think
Right.
we're probably getting a little better, but we need to get a lot more better, right?
Yeah.
It's not so taboo as everybody, you know, thinks it is. So before we get into all that great stuff, Lynn, I do want to know a little bit more about you. So let us know a little bit more.
Yes, I live in Florida, so I am very blessed. I actually live in Florida. My husband's a native Floridian. I'm not, in case you couldn't guess. And I'm blessed to have my whole family, my children and my grandchildren, within a
Oh,
5 to 7
nice.
mile radius. So that's a blessing to me because for me, I married my husband way back, and he was
Way
in the
back.
American Air Force. And so we traveled around, and I never really got to, after that, live close to my mum and dad and experience the blessings that you have when you've got parents around to help you out. So I'm originally from Coventry, England, and yes, that's where Lady Godiva was from, and the big cathedral that was bombed in the war. So for me, it was a very hard transition coming from England to the States. I was a mama's girl, had never been away from home before. So
Oh, wow.
huge transition for me. But I'm now so Americanized that I love to visit, but could not imagine going back home to live.
Funny.
And I grew up in a great family, healthy living. But when I came to the States, that just totally changed. And my life kind of fell to pieces health-wise after that. And so that's why I'm now so passionate about helping people get onto the right pathway.
Well, talk to us a little bit about that. So, because that's a big change, right? When you are, and I think that happens to many people that come from like different countries and so on, right? Well, first of all, I think we find comfort sometimes in the wrong things because we
Yes.
miss back home, because we
Yes.
miss our families. So I can see that happening. So how did that happen for you? And when did you catch it? Because a lot of times, Lynn, we don't catch it
don't.
until we already are all in it, right?
Right.
It kind of, we always say it sneaks up on you, and it kind of does. It's like you're almost in a little bit of a fog, and then one day you wake up and you're like, oh crap, I'm not healthy. Something's up
Yeah.
here, right? So talk
Yeah.
to me a little bit about that. What happened there?
Yeah. So I mean, we got over here, and funny story to me, because I came from, you want to go down and get groceries, you go every other day. So when I first walked into the stores and saw that you could buy bread off a shelf and it would last 2, 3, 4 weeks, I'm like, wow, this is absolutely amazing. I don't have
Right.
to go to the bakery every day. I had no clue that all of this had sugar
So
and
nice.
processed food and
Right.
chemicals.
Right.
I grocery shopped and I saw all these foods that were quick to make and so different from having to make everything from scratch at home. And I'd always been a yo-yo dieter, but the whole idea here made it so much easier to be a yo-yo dieter. And I did not realize it at the time, but I was going back to sugar as my comfort food. So right from being little, my dad would come home Fridays. It was his payday. He'd give my sister and I money. We'd go to the corner store and we'd buy sweets. So sweets for me means English chocolate, Cadbury, milk chocolate. And it's not like you can't go to the store like our Publix sells it. It's not the same. So when I went home, I would bring bags full of chocolate with me. I didn't have any idea that sugar was using the same brain cells as cocaine or other kind of drugs use, and I didn't realize that I was totally hooked on it. So it wasn't just the sugar, it was the foods you buy over the counter that are those quick processed foods that also have the added sugar and the chemicals that keep that brain stimulated to keep you coming back for more. Now, what people don't get is they think, well, you know, English speaking people, it's very easy to come over from England and the language is so different. So for a couple of years, my husband and I would really offend one another with what we said to one another. And there were some funny things that we said that we look back now and think, I can't even believe that I said that. But of course, that's coming from an American perspective. Now, I did not work for several years after we got here, after my kids had gone to school. But then I found I had to change my language. I had to change the way people would call and they'd say after 10 minutes, oh, I love to hear you speak. Well, that's great, but you were supposed to be listening to what I was saying.
Right.
So, you know, there was some funny things in there, but I found that I tend to be a bit of an introvert. So I tended to isolate myself. The only good thing for us when I first moved to the States was we moved to a little town in New Mexico, and several of our Air Force friends, the wives being British, had come with us. And so that helped me adjust. But we were only there 18 months and we were back in England for 4 years.
Oh, okay.
So my biggest adjustment was after that 4 years that we came back and we were in Utah and things were very different. And it wasn't just the chocolate. I would find myself when my husband was at work drinking wine in the afternoon just to make myself feel better.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it. I was using it as comfort and it was making me feel better. I just was, I was a mess and that was what I did.
And that happens to a lot of us.
Yeah.
Excuse me, because you said you're an introvert. So I'm just imagining you as an introvert coming to a whole country that you do not know. It doesn't matter if you speak the language. You don't know this country, you know, and then almost isolation too, because you're here by yourself. Yes, some of the other women came, but I'm sure they had their own lives as well. And then you're trying to adjust to all that. I'm an extrovert. I'm very extroverted. So I immediately think I need to go out and do something and find someone, because otherwise that does not serve me to be alone. I'm not good at just being alone for a long period of time. I do like it sometimes, but so as an introvert, I could see how maybe that can manifest in different ways, right? Like you said, the wine in the afternoon, just trying to find a little bit of comfort, because just because you're introverted doesn't mean you don't love or want to be around someone or have a good conversation. You know, I think people misconstrued that. They think that an introverted person just wants to be alone all the time. That's not true.
Right.
They want interaction. They want to be with someone. They want that love too. So I can imagine that was a difficult time. Is that when you started to notice, or was it a long time after?
It was a long time after. So I continued my yo-yo dieting. Tried every fad diet that was out there. I'm a lifetime member of Weight Watchers, haven't been in years and years, but you know, I mean, I did it all. I did the pills, I did the B12 shots, I tried everything, and my health got worse and worse and worse. I had multiple surgeries. I just was up and down, up and down. It came to the point I was on high cholesterol medicine, high blood pressure medicine. I didn't even realize that what I was eating was contributing to that. It was probably when I was close to 50. I remember a friend of ours came to visit from England, and we were kind of sitting around chatting at my daughter's. My friend was her mother, so the daughter was actually my daughter's friend. And she told me that she had just been through nutrition school in England. And we started talking about it. And I started getting this stirring within me, a real excitement to think, oh my gosh, there's maybe an answer out there for me. I've got to check this out. I've got to do something. And about the same time, I was having migraines daily. And I don't just mean headaches. These were migraines. Like, I'd be at work, I'd have to go home, I'd pull over at the side of the road and throw up. I could be in bed for days. And I was like, this enough's enough. I knew my health was bad. I had no energy. I literally fell asleep at my desk at 3:00 just about every afternoon, like clockwork. I'd go to bed at night. I'd get 7-8 hours sleep. I woke up, I was tired, going through perimenopause at the same time. And I just knew life had to change. And she excited me because she got into some of the ways that changing nutrition had helped her. So as a health coach here, I can't use the word. Now she can. I couldn't say I'm a nutritionist. I'm not. I'm a health coach. So I learned about the different parts of nutrition. So when I had this like aha moment, not only was I having debilitating headaches, I decided to look for somewhere in the States where I could go and learn how she had learned. And I also went to Tampa has a wonderful headache clinic at the local hospital. And I did not know that the headache clinic was a holistic solution. And of course, my school was a holistic school. So the two just kind of meshed. So they were teaching me the same things. One was helping the headaches, one was helping just my whole lifestyle. And I really have to say that after I learned, and it was about a year with the nutrition, I was in school for a year, but with the migraines, it was a lot quicker. So while they were teaching me what I was learning in school, I had to fast pace through a lot of what I was learning in school to get that health and back to a natural state with my headaches. So it just totally transformed and radicalized my life, because it was not the same after that at all. I did for a while come off my meds for my blood pressure and for my cholesterol. Unfortunately, it's genetic. As I've become older, I've had to go back on it, but it's very well maintained through diet and exercise and a healthy lifestyle.
Well, imagine if you didn't. Imagine if you didn't have that healthy lifestyle, then the medication would be your
oh my gosh.
Yeah, right. It'd be like a pseudo help, right? It would be something that you're going to have to constantly be upping and trying. So it's good that you have that healthy lifestyle, because you're right, it is genetic. Some people just can't get out of it. I've known people who are super healthy. I used to be in the medical field, super healthy and on medication for blood pressure or medication for cholesterol, because it's unfortunately it's genetics.
Yes.
Some of it is genetic, some of it is we do it to ourselves. But in your case, I'm glad that you have that health aspect to your life, because it would be a lot worse. So talk to me about, because there's a difference, Lynn, between having an aha moment and doing something about it.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
So what was that for you? Like, what is it that I know that there's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like, I've said that myself, like, oh, I'm going to do well and I'm going to lose this weight. Right. and I'll lose it, but I battle with self-sabotaging behaviors, right?
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
I'm also menopausal right now, or premenopausal right now. So I'm going through that, and the fact that it's being extremely difficult to lose the weight. And so then that discourages you, and then you're back to this ugly roller coaster, right? So what
Right,
was that
right.
moment for you between I am going to, I mean, this is amazing what she's telling me, to actually taking the action? Because I know, maybe I'm just speaking for myself. I know for me, I would probably have a little bit of back and forth before I got it right. So I'm just wondering what that was for you.
Well, for me, because my migraines were so bad, I had to take a quick approach, which is not the approach I take with my clients. I take them through learning healthy lifestyles because, yes, you're right, you have got to be totally ready.
Yeah.
I was ready because I was in pain every day. Something had to change.
Right.
So as I did what I needed to do as far as my migraines, and take into consideration, it still included eating healthy, getting off the processed foods,
Right.
getting off the sugar, exercising, taking care of yourself, being aware of where you hold your tension to manage your stress, learning breathing exercises, doing some physical therapy on yourself every day. So it was the same process as I was taking through school, but I had to fast track it because I was in pain.
Right.
So after I got out of the pain, then I found it easy this way. And I am an action taker. If I have decided to do something, I'm pretty disciplined. Now, I say that during the pandemic, my mum passed away just before, and I got into this because of the comfort food. I was eating English chocolate every day, back on that roller coaster again. And then it's very difficult to get off it. And I
Right.
think that there has to come a moment in your life where you ask yourself the question, what's my priority in life? Do I want to live a long, healthy life that is healthy? Because we can live a life that doesn't have much. Think of some of our older people. Some people are vivacious and healthy, and they go about life into their 80s and 90s, and they're full of energy. And then you've got other
Right.
people that are just kind of there existing. I want to be one of those that go into my 90s where I'm still energized and I'm healthy. So it's actually a daily choice. Now
Yeah.
because we had this early today, I could have decided I'm not going to exercise today because I've got this. But I got up early so I could get my exercise in before I did this. So I think it's little choices and making little steps. So you don't have to look at the big picture and think, oh my gosh, I've got to lose 60 pounds and I've got to do it quickly, and I've got to do this, 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 and this. And this is one of the things I love about what I do. I teach how to incrementally add these healthy steps into your life and make them a habit, because if they are a habit, even if you veer off the pathway, at some point you're going to pull yourself back on.
Yeah.
And I think we've especially found that with the pandemic, because everything has been different for people. People have struggled with different things. And I really think that one of the big key points for people is, if you're struggling, get help. I'm a coach. When I was struggling during the pandemic, I got a health coach to help me through it. I like accountability, and I think that it can help all of us to have somebody there as our cheering section to help us on. It might be for a month, it might be for 2 months, you might need it for 12 months, but get somebody to walk hand in hand with you through that process until you've got a handle on it again.
Yeah, I agree with that. Being a coach myself, I do really well myself with accountability. That's why I have coaches, because I do well with that. And I think most of us do. Most of us do.
Yes.
Whether it's in business, whether it's in life, whatever it is, we always thrive better if we're accountable to someone or something,
Right.
right? So
Right.
that's really wonderful. So can you maybe quickly take us through like a journey that you have with your clients? Like, do they go on your site, or how do they start with you? And what does that process look like?
Yeah, so very often I'm on calls with people, maybe people in my group, maybe people that have seen something on social media, because I offer a free consultation,
Okay.
and we'll talk through what is bothering them. Because the one great thing about being a health coach is we have so much knowledge and so much wisdom, and especially as we age, so much wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
So I can start with somebody. It can vary. Maybe they come because they are having problems with menopause. They've got this sudden weight gain. They're craving sugars. They're craving anything that they really shouldn't be eating, or they're fatigued all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll start with that. I pinpoint, what is it that you're struggling with? What is it that you're wanting? What's your goal? What do you want to achieve? And then we break it down into small goals. So if somebody comes to me for weight loss, and maybe they need to lose 60 pounds, I'll break it down into small goals. So 60 pounds in how long? Maybe it's a year. So that's 30 pounds in 6 months, 15 pounds in 3 months. Sounds so much more doable.
Yeah.
And then I'll put into place the thing that they struggle most with. And I'll have to tell you, as basic as this sounds, the majority of people struggle most with fluid intake. Hydration causes so many health problems.
Yes, Lynn.
Yes. And you have to teach people how to drink water.
It's so true.
And it is so true. And that was one of the things with my migraines. I had no clue dehydration was causing migraines.
Yeah.
And I can tell you now, if I'm not drinking enough water, I'll get a headache.
Right.
So it's great for anti-aging, great for flushing out our body, but hydration is so important. So I will teach them how to do that. And some people don't like water, so I give them ideas on how they can add something that will help them with the water. It may be that they don't know how to eat a healthy meal, or they don't have time for it. So I'll work with busy professionals or entrepreneurs, and I'll teach them how to meal prep maybe in 2 hours on a weekend, so that they've got something to eat all week. I'm also a certified wellness cooking instructor, so that helps in that regard.
Oh, wonderful.
I teach them the pillars of health, and it can be sleep, it can be stress. It's whatever they're struggling with the most. So stress for people in midlife is a huge, huge thing, because messes with our hormones, and we need to try and get our hormones balanced out again. And you can actually do that with some of your basics, with food, with water, with the sleep, with lessening your stress. There's so many natural things that we can do that will get us on that track in where we're at the moment, what we're struggling with, but it helps us in every aspect of our health throughout our lives. So if you get off track and you've worked with me, you've got the tools. Maybe you'll come back and say, Lynn, I need just to work with you for a month so that I can get back totally on track, and off we'll go. I mean, I teach them the basics. So same thing with me. I get off track once in a while, and I either have to get someone to help me, or my group's great for encouraging people.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. I love that you're being honest too, and open about the fact that you're a coach and sometimes you need the help too. I say that all the time. Every coach needs a coach.
Yes.
Every therapist needs a therapist. Like,
yes.
People have to stop trying to find that perfect person. They just need to find somebody who's been there, done that, and can help you through it, and knows how to do that. Right, Lynn? Because you already you've gone through this yo-yo dieting yourself. You've had the premenopausal part, the struggles. You've also went and got yourself educated to help people. And that's why I like having people like you on the show, because I want everyone who's listening to listen up. The truth is you can make it through this. And a lot of times it's just because you don't have somebody as a third eye for you to show you the process to do it. Because there's a couple of things, Lynn. Yes, of course, drinking water is important. We all know that, right? I'm sure everybody's going, I know that. But you know what, Lynn? I am awful with it. myself. And I'm actually seeing a holistic doctor who does this nutritional coaching and all of that. Thank God, because she's always on me about how much water did you drink? How much water did you drink? Okay, try this method, try that method, because I was always been so bad at that, right? So just to show you that it might sound silly and simple, but it really is something people struggle with. It
Yes,
really, really is, right? It's like,
it is.
go take a 20-minute walk. You think that sounds simple? It actually is simple, but people don't do it, right? And
Right,
so that's why people
right.
like you that do this kind of work is very important, because it keeps us accountable. And we need that. And I know a lot of the women that I speak to, and I know you guys are listening. We have a lot of entrepreneurs. I have busy moms. I have entrepreneurs. Most of the women that I talk to, especially through my coaching practice and stuff, they're about over 30.
Mhm.
So they're struggling with this too, like getting a little older. It's not so easy to lose the weight, that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
right, Lynn? So I'm really glad that you came on here to talk about that, and I'm glad that you talked about how you work with your people as well, because I think that it's not so scary, Lynn, when you say, okay, you have 60 pounds, we're gonna do 30 and then 15 and then 50. You know how much
Mm,
easier that
mm.
that immediately takes the pressure off of you, because when you start thinking about the weight you want to lose at a bulk, it becomes very overwhelming. And then
Right.
before you know it, you're eating the chips because you're feeling
Yes.
overwhelmed. Right?
Yes.
This
Yes.
vicious cycle.
And the
So
vicious cycle is
mm,
that, well, I blew it for lunch, so what the heck, I might as well blow it for dinner as well.
yeah,
Whereas if we
yeah,
stop at that lunch and get right back on track,
yes.
then it's no big deal.
Right. And that's why they need to work with someone like you, Lynn, because that is an all or nothing mentality that a lot of people,
Yes.
and I'm one of them, that, want to lose a lot of weight, struggle with, right? That all or nothing. Oh, I messed it up now. Forget it. I'm done. Right. And what happens is that you don't get back on track, because every day you're going to mess up something. And so
Right.
immediately you keep going back to messing it all up, or what, I don't know about messing it all, but just not being accountable to what it is you're doing and putting it all in, what you're putting in your body. So Lynn, I really want to thank you for being on here and like sharing that, really. And I know that like I said, I think this last month, my podcast coach was on here with me. I think he told me I have like 30,000 downloads a month, right? So
Wow.
that means that all of these people are listening. And I want, women especially, and especially anybody who is like, I'm 50, I just turned 50, who is maybe my age or a little younger, maybe going through that struggling of losing that weight and not just not being able to get on track, Lynn. So I want to make sure they know how to work with you. So if you can give us like, your contact info, or at least where they can find you, how they can support you, maybe work with you, that would be great, please.
Yeah. So my website is holistic-healthandwellness.com.
Okay.
That is the easiest way to find me. On Facebook, if you look for the Energized Healthy Women's Club and you want to come in and join, we have lots of
I
tips
love that.
and lots of different things that we do there. But through my holistic-healthandwellness.com website, there are 2 downloads there. One is for 5 easy steps or 5 simple steps to a healthier you, which go through some of those pillars. And then I do have a free offer for helping through menopause. And I'm just always thrilled to be able to talk to people. There's a contact thing there if they want to get a free
Wonderful.
consultation with me, or just ask some questions. I'm here to serve people and help them live that happy, joyous, healthy life that they want.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Lynn. This was great. I'm going
Thank
to make
you.
sure to go ahead and drink my water. This is sparkling water with no sugar, but I have to get much better at it. But I love that, you were just so open about the journey and open about some of the struggles that we don't think about, and are not putting our thought to what we're doing, right? The mindless stuff like the drinking of the wine in the middle of the day and eating that chocolate when you lost your mom, which I'm sorry that you lost her. And I know that that was a comfort thing for you. It probably brought you right back to that moment,
Yes, it did.
being there and eating the chocolates. And we all do that, and that's okay, Lynn, but I feel like people need to work with you so that they don't stay there, right? So that they can go ahead and move to the healthier person they're trying to become. So thank you so
Yes.
much for being here.
Thank you, Neena.
Thank you. I appreciate this so much. And guys, thank you so much for listening and watching. You guys have been amazing. I cannot believe when my podcast coach told me that is the amount of downloads that I've had this last month. That means that you guys are really listening and watching. I know that you are supportive because you're always contacting me, DMing me, emailing me, all that stuff, and also following my guests. So make sure that you follow Lynn. I'm going to make sure to link all of her information below so that you can follow her. Go onto her website. She says she has those free resources for you so that you can see her expertise. And you know what? For those of you who really got to get it together, especially when it comes to weight loss and health and just managing it, make sure that you reach out to Lynn because I love her personality. I love her energy. I think she's going to be super fun to work with. So thank you guys for being here. Neena Perez, Straight Talk, no sugar added. Until next time.